Well, guys, we did it. Right before the patch that went out, we were able to bring down the Elite Dragon. We got the frame at exactly 8 minutes, and we were world first in Season 2 Plus. The Dragon was super tough this season, was probably a bit stronger than it should be, but huge shout out to BDO fam for their determination and perseverance. Today I'm going to go over exactly how we did it, and also how the Dragon works for any first timers. I'm also going to post our winning run at the end, so stay tuned. So in this guide, you can expect a breakdown of the strategy, a rundown of all mechanics, and a full completion of the Elite Raid tacked on at the end. As always, I'll try to remain as concise and to the point as possible, but if you do have questions, please just leave them in the comments below. So the first thing I want to go over in the strategy guide portion of this is the composition. This raid, you're going to want to run roughly 8 tanks and 100% archers. Keep in mind, although it's not recommended, you can use mages in the normal, but they cannot be used in Elite due to the Elite mechanic that reduces their damage by 50%. Another thing to point out is that BDO did this before the changes to threat generation on infantry, so it may be possible to run the raid now with less tanks. The next part we'll talk about is heroes. So the heroes you're going to want to take are Madeline Garwood for tanking, and Sindri and Freygar on all DPS. If Sindri and Freygar is not possible, Kanara Hosk on Marksman or Nico Kanara on Precision Tree are acceptable alternatives. Every DPS March should be running Goldcrest or Shadowblades. Rattlespear is okay, but you can't defense break, so you can't use its passive, and it also causes you to stand still for 3 to 5 seconds, so be careful. For this raid, I would not recommend any other artifacts on DPS, and tanks all took Mask. One note about tanks is that if the patch made it a ton easier for them to hold aggro, they may be able to drop Mask and take a real tank artifact such as Spirit Bone. This would massively improve the tank's survivability in this raid. Setting up for the raid is pretty straightforward and is pretty similar to other raids. Everyone should scout right before every attempt, which the raid leads should be calling for. They should have the correct city theme on for damage, and they should have a gold defense/movement speed mana stone for tanks, or an attack/movement speed mana stone for DPS. The next part of the setup is making sure proper markers are set up by the R4s/R5s. The markers need to be placed for the 3-step mechanic, which we will go over later, and should look like this. You will also want to make sure to mark the tanks potentially, and you will want to mark the DPS leader. The Frost Dragon raid has a number of mechanics, but I'm going to break down the raid to focus on the most important ones. As with all behemoths, the Frost Dragon cannot be debuffed, and it has a number of attack pattern mechanics that I will not list as there's nothing to really do about them besides tank them. These can be found in the codex in the game if you're interested. Keep in mind that the range of the dragon's attack patterns is deceptively massive, and it is important that all DPS are staying max range mostly at all times. The Ice Dragon has 1 persistent mechanic, 3 core mechanics, and 2 secondary mechanics. Keep in mind that one of the core mechanics is a 3-part mechanic that will be merged into one for easier understanding. The first mechanic we'll talk about is the persistent mechanic Frost Curse. Frost Curse is a stacking mechanic that is inflicted by pretty much any spell the dragon does outside of its normal attack patterns. These stacks give you minus 3% movement speed stacking up to 10 times. At 10 stacks, Icy Prison is triggered, causing the stacks to detonate, dealing damage to your march and rooting it for 3 seconds. Keep in mind for Elite, this will execute any marches below 15% HP when Icy Prison is triggered. The main thing that will stack this mechanic up is the circles and tornadoes that we'll talk about soon. So keep this in mind if you see a bunch of stacks being applied to a bunch of players in a group. These stacks slow you and cause you to take additional damage, so it's very important to try your best to maintain as little stacks as possible throughout the entirety of the raid. The dragon has 3 core mechanics: Cold Call, Cold Front, and the 3-part mechanic that I'm calling the Meteor phase. The sequence of core mechanics will always go Cold Call, Cold Front, Cold Call again, and then Meteor phase, which includes the healing phase. This will repeat until the dragon is dead or you have wiped. Keep in mind, failing to perform well in any of these core mechanics can result in a wipe. The first core mechanic, Cold Call, or as I call it, Lizards, is where the dragon will spawn a set of 5 lizards in the arena. These enemies have an ability called Frostburn, which spawns Frigid Fields under a march at set intervals. For raid leads out there, the call out for Frigid Fields is just circles to be clear and concise in the raid. These enemies must be killed as soon as possible because leaving them alive for too long will cause them to inflict Frostburn on more legions, which causes more circles. This is the number one reason that you will wipe this raid and needs to be observed by the raid lead at all times. It is imperative that all members run circles out of the group to the left or the right sides of the arena. You can also run them back if you're forced to, but ideally you run them left or right to avoid any late circles causing people to get caught in Cold Front. This core mechanic will be talked about more in the 3-part Meteor phase. The second core mechanic is called Cold Front. The dragon lifts off the ground and breathes frost onto the ground below it in a large circle, dealing damage over time. After a short duration, the frost ends, the dragon comes back to the ground, and the frost spreads outwards in a large ring which explodes, dealing massive damage to any legions caught in the ring. There are 2 safe areas for the explosion on this mechanic. Out towards the edge of the arena, and immediately inside the circle, the dragon just breathes frost into initially. For this mechanic, I've instructed BDO to do what I call the out-in-out strategy. Firstly, when Cold Front is called for, you will move right outside its range on the very edge of the danger circle. If you're using archers at their maximum range, you should be just outside of the range of the initial frost breath. As soon as the frost breath ends, you move your legion in, just inside the circle where the frost breath just happened. Finally, we want to move back out again so we can avoid the dragon's massive wing attack and any other attack patterns that may hit you. If more than 4 legions get hit by the explosion from Cold Front, raid leads need to make sure to take note of that and call it out for correction. Keep in mind, Cold Front can hit for 100k plus, which drastically reduces your March's DPS until the next healing phase, and it also means that you have to take time and potentially extra risk to get the healing stones, which further lowers your DPS. This mechanic should be executed perfectly every time. The largest and most complex of the mechanics is what I call the Meteor phase, which is a 3-part mechanic as I discuss, which includes lizards. I will break it down as it can be very confusing. The lizards respawn periodically throughout the raid, which is why I separated that mechanic, but they tie into the overall Meteor phase. The first part of the Meteor phase is Creeping Cold. This starts the Meteor phase and is the call out to inform the raid that they need to prepare. Creeping Cold is where the dragon sucks all circles in. The circles will still damage and give stacks to any legions they pass through, so it's important to move your legion to an area where it will not get hit by the circles. The best place to stand would be above the 1 markers set by the raid lead, as there should be very few, if any, circles above the 1 markers. The only time there would be circles above the 1 markers is if the tanks get an unlucky frostburn trigger. When Creeping Cold is called, all legions besides the designated DPS group and the reserve tank need to immediately move to the left or right zone 1 markers. This needs to happen instantly, not after your next rage cycle, not after your next artifact, immediately. Timing is everything to make sure that the next part is as smooth as possible. The second part is Glacial Surge, or Meteors for short. After the dragon gets done sucking in all circles, he will then shoot out meteors that will target random legions in the raid. These meteors will fall, dealing damage and then leaving behind a circle of their own. As the raid goes on, the dragon will shoot more and more of these meteors, making it important to take as long as possible to walk to each point as to not end up with circles in the middle of the arena. The 2 groups need to wait at Zone 1 until the first meteor is shot. Once the first meteor is shot, the 2 groups at Zone 1 can move together as tight to the wall as possible down to Zone 2, and then to Zone 3. It is very important that everyone moves in as tight a group as possible to each zone, and does not take any shortcuts. People that fall behind will get hit by meteors, or they'll leave circles in non-ideal spots in their effort to dodge the meteors. This is why instantly moving to Zone 1 when it's safe to do so during Creeping Cold is so very important. The raid will continue to move until the dragon stops shooting and flies off, at which point the raid groups up in preparation for Part 3 of the Meteor phase. The final part of the Meteor phase is the healing phase of the raid. After the dragon flies off, he will deal damage with Winter's Reckoning and then drop down and spawn 2 healing stones. For Elite, you will need to collect both healing stones almost always in order to keep your tanks alive. Keep in mind, with the change in the most recent patch, this may not be the case, as tanks may be able to maintain threat without mask, meaning they can take a way tankier artifact, making them more durable. You will for sure need to get at least 1 healing stone though. For our run, we got both healing stones whenever it was possible, and we let the tanks decide on which to go first to ensure they got the heal every time. This small detail allowed our tanks to survive in the later stages of the elite fight. The healing stones can be very RNG, and if one spawns back in the tanking zone, it can be very difficult to get it. Tanks need to do their best to move the dragon away from the healing stones so the raid can safely get them without getting hit by the dragon's wing attack. You are on a timer during this phase because Cold Call will be coming, and you want everyone to be in position to kill lizards once again. The final 2 secondary mechanics we're going to discuss are Snow Day and Winter's Reckoning. Snow Day spawns a tornado every 2 minutes. There is not much to say about this mechanic other than good luck. The tornadoes will target random legions and slowly move towards them. The tornadoes need to be avoided as they cause stacks and quite a bit of damage, and they last throughout the entire raid once they're spawned. The final mechanic is Winter's Reckoning, which is raid-wide damage that scales with the number of Frost Curse stacks each Legion has on them and clears the stacks after the damage is dealt. This mechanic is triggered right before the healing stones of the Meteor phase. Just to be clear, I want to provide a strategy summary on how the raid needs to be performed. The raid needs to be split into 4 groups: the tanks, the core DPS group, and then the 2 general DPS groups. Your core DPS group should consist of your 10 hardest hitters in the raid. These are generally people that know the mechanics, execute the mechanics well, and have strong marches. The 2 general DPS groups need to group up just below the 1 markers on the right and left side of the dragon. The core DPS group needs to all be on one side, stacking on whoever will lead that group. The first mechanic will be lizards, which means circles. All DPS besides the core DPS group need to kill lizards. T4 players should prioritize using artifacts on the lizards. The circles need to also be ran out of the group. The next mechanic is Cold Front, which means we perform the out-in-out strategy to avoid the damage of Cold Front. Then there will be another set of lizards to kill, and finally, the Meteor phase. Creeping Cold will be called for, and all marches except the core DPS group and 1 tank will move to one of the 2 Zone 1s immediately. Keep in mind, the tank that holds the dragon during Meteor phase should be a reserve tank who has a good HP bar. The DPS group needs to stack on the DPS group leader. This is just in case there's bad RNG and a bunch of the meteors target the DPS group while they are up in front of the raid. Stacking everyone on the DPS lead allows for the meteors to not fall too sporadically. All marches besides the DPS group and the reserve tank will group and wait on Zone 1. Once the first meteor is shot, they will then move to Zone 2 and finally Zone 3, hugging the wall as tightly as possible until the dragon flies off. The raid will then regroup in the middle and follow the tanks to the healing stones. This cycle is then looped until the raid is complete. For our run specifically, the tanks were in a separate Discord call so that they could coordinate their taunts and tanking without interrupting the raid lead. That is the entire dragon raid. I'm going to include BDO's completion of the raid, but guys, listen. Please go easy on my raid leading or my microing. I was having to micro my march and try and call out mistakes I saw at the same time. Enjoy, and congrats BDO on World First. It was hard fought and well earned. Again, wait till 7 and then attack. Just wait, stay where you are, don't move up.
We got
Stay where you are. Wait till 7 seconds, then move up. The first mechanic is lizards, that means circles. Now move up and attack.
Go.
See, we're at max range now, so when Cold Front comes, we should be good. First mechanic is lizards, that means circles. Check your march, see if you have a circle. Use artifacts, use artifacts. T4, save artifacts for lizards. Here comes the lizards right now. Lizards are coming. In 3, 2, 1. Kill lizards right now. Kill lizards right now. Use artifacts, T4s, please. Thank you. Awesome. They're going out real quick. That's what we like to see. Run the circles out. Good job. Good job on the circle placement. Great. DPS. Cold Front is next, and it's now. If you came into max range, you are fine. Don't run too far out. Don't run too far out. Some of you are getting hit in the front there, in the middle. There you go. Good job. In. Just right inside. Don't go all the way up to the dragon. But if you do, back up. Now back up. If you're on the left and right side, back up a little bit. There we go. Good job. The next mechanic is lizards. That means circles. Lizards are coming. Here they are, right here. 3, 2, 1. That's lizards. Kill lizards right now. Run circles out. Somebody in the middle on the right side. Xanax. Run the circle out. It's only 2, I think. No, we're fine, we're fine. Watch on the left side. Careful of that circle. That's pretty close to you guys on the DPS side. The next mechanic is Creeping Cold. We just had a tank die. Going a little. Okay, so Creeping Cold is next. Yeah, he was. There was 2 of them over there. They're hard to see, though, because of the white patch of snow. Creeping Cold's coming right now. Go to Zone 1. Go to Zone 1. Go to Zone 1 now. Go to Zone 1 now. Stop waiting. Go to Zone 1. Some of you are still waiting. Now move to Zone 2. Warlord, you see that? You see that right there? You see that, Warlord? You're standing on it. You must be disconnected.
DPS stand on
DPS
heart,
move.
not near heart. On heart.
On heart?
Not
Move,
near
guys,
heart.
move. DPS, you're standing still. Good job.
Okay, now move up for the Warlord must be DC'd. He's still standing in that circle.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yep. Prepare for healing stones. Okay, see where the tanks go. Wait for the tanks. They're gonna make a decision.
They gotta go.
They're going left. They're going left. 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 Watch the tornado. Watch the tornado. Watch the tornado. Grab the heal stone.
Jesus.
Wonder if they need to. They probably do. Use artifacts. Kill lizards. Kill lizards. This is actually okay, because now we're going to go to right side, and everybody's going to kill lizards on the right side. Kill lizards. Kill lizards. Run the circles out. Great job on the circles.
Tank. Shit, no.
Oof. There's a circle in the front, guys. In the front left. Look at your march. Cold front. On the edge. Watch out for the tornado in the middle. Tornado in the middle. Watch out. Watch out. Tornado in the middle. Watch out. You're still getting hit. You guys are still getting hit. And move in. That's a tank, by the way. Okay, we had too many people get hit by cold front. That's okay, though. Keep moving. Next mechanic is lizards. Watch out for the tornado on the left side. Oh, it's still up, isn't it?
I think the tanks need to heal.
Okay. Well, yeah, they're not moving to it, so I don't know.
Okay.
This is lizards. Kill lizards. Kill lizards. Run circles out. Do you have a circle on you? Run it out now, not later. On the right side, I think that they're going to drop a circle in the middle of the group. Careful. Maybe not. Use artifacts if you have them. South lizards. Yep. Okay, good job, guys. The next mechanic is creeping cold. It's coming like right now, or after this taunt, I think. That was a bad taunt.
This is a good
Here's creeping cold.
Run.
Creeping cold is here. Watch out. Watch out for circles, especially on the left side. Watch out for tornadoes.
DPS on the heart, not near the heart. DPS, south of me. You need to move. Get on the heart, not near the heart. A bunch of DPSs below me, not on the heart. Get on the heart.
Use artifacts.
Stop DPSing, get on the heart, then DPS.
Rotate to 2. To 2, get to 2. Then 3.
Couple
Bonked, you need to back.
Heart, not on the heart.
Bonked, you need to back up to the rest of the group. Like, oh my god, that guy.
You ready for the ruin?
Watch out for the tornado. Yep, and then healing stones. Okay, it's going to be the closest right one. Careful the tornado. Get in the healing if you need it, especially if you need it. Get in the zone, get in the healing. Then grab the other one, grab the other one. Help the tanks out. Grab the other one, grab the other one. Grab the other healing stone. Watch out for the tornado, though.
Lizards.
And the lizards, yep. Run circles out if you have them. If you have them, run circles out. That's more important than the healing stone. You don't want to drop that on people. Kill lizards, kill lizards. Left side needs help. And don't get too close to the dragon. You don't want to take too much damage here from the wing attack. Some of us are getting hit by wing attack. Watch the tornadoes. They're ripping through the middle. Cold front. This is cold front. Get out of the ring. You're on the edge. You're on the edge. You're on the edge. You're on the edge. Careful of the tornado. You're on the edge. Some of you. Oh. Go in. And DPS. Watch out for that tornado still if you're in the middle. And then back up. Back up. Wing attack on the left side. Back up. Oh my god, that wing attack was brutal.
It's fine. It's fine. We're close, guys. Come on. Focus.
The next mechanic is lizards. Next mechanic is lizards. Watch out for the tornado on the left side. Tornado on the left side. Watch out. Run the circles out. Run the circles out. Run the circles out. Watch the tornado on the left side. Use artifacts. Don't tunnel. Use your artifacts if you have them. Use them now. Kill the lizard on the left side, please. So he doesn't spawn another circle. The next mechanic is creeping cold. DPS. Watch out for the tornadoes. Just keep DPSing. We have to stick it, guys. I think we stick it.
Stick it, stick it, stick it. Turn and burn, turn and burn. Let's go.
I think we stick it. Watch out for the tornado. You can't stick it and die though. You still need a micro. You still need a micro. Move out of the meteors.
Watch your marches. We got 20 seconds.
Yep.
10 seconds.
You got
go. DPS. Go, go, go. Go. Don't stop. DPS. Artifacts. Go, go,
stick
go,
it.
go.
Stick it. Stick it. Artifacts. Yep. Use artifacts.
We got it. We got
We
it.
got it.
We got it. We got it. We got it.
I think we got
We got
frame
it.
too. I think we got frame.
I think we got frame. I think we got frame.
We got
We got the
it.
frame.
We got it. Yeah, we got it.
No way!
We got it. We got it.